Now, in my role, I get a few perks. Those perks are not, I don't get a free limo. I'm looking at one of my board members. Don't worry. I don't get limo service to the office, or I don't get free parking. Okay, I don't get any of that. But I do get this one perk. And that is, tonight, in this award, I would like to single out one hospital. Their top hospital award is just as significant as every one of the top hospitals in this room. So I'm singling them out for personal reasons. But every one of you also is as meaningful to me as they are. It's just this one hospital, it's personal, and I'm going to cite it. It's personal for 3 reasons. The first reason is I live in the Washington, D.C. area, and this hospital is there, and it is a very important part of our community. It's a literal lifeline. It is a Trauma One center, and it serves a lot of the VIPs in this capital region who, God forbid, if they need Trauma One, if something awful happens, that's where they're going to go. From presidents and ambassadors and diplomats, all of those folks would go likely to this hospital. And at the same time, they serve an inner city hospital. They serve an inner city population and really serve a very challenged population as well. So it's an extraordinarily important hospital to all of us in this region. So that's personal to me. This is my community. The second reason it's personal is I have a longtime friendship with Dave Mayer. Dave is a nationally known leader in patient safety who headed up quality for Medstar Hospital System, of which this hospital is a part. And back in 2017, we had some conversations about this hospital because this hospital was consistently getting some very bad grades. And I said, Dave, this is in my community, what's going on? And he said, look, you don't understand how tough it is to run an inner city hospital that's also a Trauma One emergency center and all the challenges. And I have to say I was quite sympathetic to that, but I still said, where's your A? Now Dave is passionate about patient safety. Those of you who know him know he doesn't take any compromise on the issue of patient safety, and he's as blunt as they get about the shortfalls in hospitals across the country that are not achieving what they should be achieving in patient safety. So he's tough on everyone. But our conversation was still a bit awkward, and it was tough. He ultimately, he worked very hard with Washington Hospital Center, which is the hospital I'm about to cite. And he also, he's ultimately now retired, but he's been working with another team at Medstar, led by Terry Fairbanks, who is also an extraordinary leader in patient safety. But most of all, the people at Medstar Washington Hospital Center have gone to battle for their patients, and they won. They have achieved an extraordinary level of quality and safety since that very awkward 2017 conversation. They moved mountains. I do think they moved mountains because it isn't easy to get where they were to where they are today. And we're going to celebrate that. And then one more thing. I have a third reason that is personal that I want to cite for why I am so excited about the Top Hospital Award for Medstar Washington Hospital Center, and that is my friend Alan Langerman, who was a patient there. So Alan, if you could come to the stage.
Well, hello there. I have some good news tonight, which is that I'm on so many post-operative drugs that fear is a thing of the past. Thank you. So almost exactly 2 months ago to the day, I had a little something called a quadruple bypass. at Medstar Washington Hospital Center, the Heart and Vascular Institute. And I've had a little time to think about that. My past is as an engineer, and I try to think about systems from top to bottom. So basically what I want to do today is I want to say thank you from top to bottom. So 5 thank yous. My first thank you is to the hospital system and leadership team for their courage to change, which meant that when I went to shop for a bypass procedure in early September, that I saw hard data out there that reflected that change. I could have gone anywhere for my bypass. I admit that I had some biases, and I thought, oh, I'll go up to Boston and I'll go to one of the hospitals there. But what I found was that this hospital wasn't just competitive, it actually had the best data for my procedure. It had the best outcomes, the best infection rates, the best morbidity and mortality, right? So that meant that I could be here in this area. That meant that I could place my best bet on my life and on my family's security, but stay here, not hundreds of miles away, and be with my family, right? So that was big. And to all of them, I would say, please don't stop changing. Please don't stop being transparent about your results and your change. Things will only get better. I want to say thank you to the team and the process that took care of me and made me feel special and great. Something that starts long before you check in that morning, right? People are calling you a week in advance. People are talking to you about your medications. People are talking to you about what to expect. People are teaching you how to begin your infection control, right? Long before you get into that hospital. It's huge, right? And you come and you check in, and people are there. People are understanding what you're doing. They're explaining and leading you through things. And you go into the surgical suite, and honestly, I don't remember any of that. Normally, I'm the kind of guy, like if I'm getting an angiogram, I'll pop my head up and I'll say, you know, I see on the picture there, you should take a left in the coronary anatomy. With a bypass, you can't do that. So you wake up, and good news, you've woken up. You're happy about that. You know, when your wife is there, she's checking you out. So you've been through the surgical team, now you're getting that in-hospital care. People are flushing your catheters over and over again. People are washing their hands coming in and out. You're a patient, you don't really know what to pay attention to, but you're paying attention to that. Did that guy clean his hands? I want to know, right? And I didn't get an infection. Life was good. The post-hospital care, right? The calls, the checkups, the in-home visits, all this process that means that I got taken care of. And some of the things that I did manage to remember, even despite the drugs, I remember the chief medical officer coming to check up on me, right? That was huge. I remember the nurses who keyed into my competitive instincts and got me to believe that there was a little contest going on for who could walk the most between the patients on the floor. And I'm a little bit type A, a little bit. So I would go to that scoreboard and I would move my token for each walk that I took. And you know, the box is this big, and I'd put my token at the far end because, you know, I had the best walk. And I would do that every day until I noticed the patient from room number 15. And this guy was walking more than me. So what could I do? I got up a little earlier. I walked a little longer. I walked a little harder. And I moved my status token. And the final day, I was determined to win. I woke up the earliest. I took my walk. He wasn't even on the board. He wasn't even on the board. And so I went back, I had a little breakfast, and I thought, I'm good, I'm gonna go out for another walk. I go to that board. That guy had taken 4 walks, moved his status token all the way to the end, and checked out of the hospital. So, you know, I thank the nurses, but the worst of all is yet to come. My wife goes to talk to the nurses, and they start laughing because patient number 15 does not speak English and had no idea he was competing with me. That hurt. That really hurt. So I'm talking to people at all levels, including the person who comes in and cleans my floor. And she talks to me. I don't know if it's her natural gift. I don't know if she's been trained by the hospital, but she speaks to me sympathetically. She speaks to me understandingly. And when she leaves, she wishes me a blessed day. So for all of these reasons, I thank the hospital, the team, the effort. I also want to thank Leapfrog, and I want to thank Leah for holding up a mirror to the industry. Okay, the industry may do this in some way that I don't understand, but I've never seen it before. She holds up this mirror, and a lot of people look in that mirror, and I'm afraid a lot of them don't do anything. They just look and say, well, yeah, I got warts. But everybody here tonight apparently looked in that mirror and said, well, I'm going to change my appearance. I'm going to do things differently. And that's just amazing that there's an honest broker who has this unique position in the industry and who I would say is a treasure. So thank you. And before I go, I got to say thank you to my wife, Jessica. And my family, who provided me with critical support. I normally would argue that I don't need any support. I'm perfectly capable of just supporting myself, which of course is not true. I do need those things, I just don't admit them. And without Jessica and my family, there wouldn't actually be much point to any of this. So thank you. Thank you. And thank you. Thank you to all of you for putting up with me. Thanks.
Well, I know that every one of the hospitals in this room would have somebody like Alan Langerman to tell a story about you. And I hope that you cherish those stories as much as I cherish this one. So with that, I have the perk and the privilege of awarding, along with Alan, who got off the stage, along with Alan and with Steve, we will be awarding the Top Teaching Hospital Award to Washington Hospital Center. If you could come up.